What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toy Shop Fab. Got Seth over here in the driver's seat. Both hands on the wheel, bud. We are headed back from the auto parts store right now. Picked up a few things. A couple things I want to take care of on this truck before leaving for Power Tour. Got to do an oil change on it. Got brake lines to address. Transmission drain and refill. You know, little things like that. So, see you guys back at the shop. Seth has successfully driven us to the auto parts store and back. Yes. So made it back to the shop. We're gonna let it cool down just for a little bit before we hop in and change the oil and filter. Also let it cool down a little bit before draining and filling the transmission as well. So what we are gonna jump into right now is we're going to address the driver's side front brake line. Now, I say driver's side front brake line because I've already addressed the passenger side front brake line. I did that prior to leaving to make sure I could actually, I had everything I needed, because this is just to make sure I had everything I needed, okay? Forgot what, just a mind blank right there. But anyways, the reason why we're changing them, let me grab our new one. I ordered some stainless steel lines a while ago, and I actually ordered them for a different truck, and I had them, and I start looking around, and they didn't fit what I had ordered the lines for this truck for. They are for a Chevrolet with a 4 to 6 inch lift. As you can see, they're long, and they are stainless steel. And then here is a factory one. Now this is the factory line that has been on this truck ever since I have owned it. It may even have been on this truck since brand new. And I say that because of this funky looking little end on there, and the outside sheath, or the outside protective coating, the rubber on the outside, you can see is just weather checked, cracked, breaking. And it's been on this truck like this for quite some time now. I never really gave too much thought about it because it is in town, and when you really get down and look at it, it's just the outside that is all, it's just the rubber coating on the outside that is coming apart. If you get in here and really look on the inside, all of that is still in very decent shape. The weaving, everything, it's not frayed or it's not coming apart. It's just the rubber on the outside, which is why I never really concerned myself with it. But we are going on a long trip with this truck now. My wife's going to be doing driving. This kid too, when we get back, he's going to have his driver's license. He's going to want to drive that truck as well, and I want to at least make sure that he's got good brake lines in there, that he is able to stop in the short amount of distance he gives himself. He's getting better. So here's I'm gonna hand you off to Seth. Oh, wait. So here is our new brake line. Now I ordered this, like I said, it is for a Chevrolet truck, but I believe it's for like the 2500. It's for the bigger trucks with the big lifts. So we still got this end here. It still takes the banjo bolt, and it comes with the new little copper gaskets in the kit. As you can see, this hard line right here, how it comes up. Now, they don't normally do this. I had to bend this like this when I put the lift on the truck to get it to reach. And I had to undo the brake line and use this funky looking little bracket to lower it on the frame rails a couple inches, just so I can get the lines to clear. And even then, this thing always was in a stretch. So that's another reason I wanted to change them. But here is our new line. This line here goes right inside the factory bracket that the brake line's supposed to be in. So we'll be able to put the brake lines back where they go. It's got this nice clear coating on the outside. It's stainless steel braided. And then this little guy here goes in place of our other one. It's got a nice little L to shoot it up. Matter of fact, let me show you what the passenger's here. Show you what the passenger side one looks like right now. So there is a factory bracket on the frame. That line used to come down here. So now I was able to put it back, put our line back into this bracket, and then it comes all the way down to our brake caliper, and you can see how it gets attached. So fits in there nice, definitely clears everything. So now I'm gonna hand you off to Seth. He's gonna do some videoing. We're gonna get in there, we're gonna pull the line, get it changed out, and then I'm gonna go over a couple of things too, because I did this passenger side one by myself, and there's a couple things you can do if you do not have help. It kind of helps ensure that you get all the air out of your line, and it's kind of like, you know, and that your brake lines are bled. So like I said, I'm gonna hand you off to Seth, and we're gonna get into changing out this brake line. All right, first things first, before you get started on your brakes, make sure the brake parts that you bought are correct. Last thing you want to do is tear your truck apart in your driveway or your garage or on the sidewalk and not have all the correct parts, and you're stuck putting your bad parts back on. So, you get what I'm saying? Now, here's another thing I've learned, and this will help you out if you are doing it by yourself. Pop the top to your brake reservoir. Make sure you have the correct fluid. Usually tells you on the cap, this truck being .3, we have .3 brake fluid. So just make sure that this is off, your top is off, and this brake reservoir is completely topped off. And I say that because, well, you're gonna use up quite a bit of fluid when you're doing it by yourself. This is gonna help you out. Now I always put the little cap back on, just not all the way, just rest it on there. Kind of helps keep dirt and flies and leaves, and because we're underneath a tree right now. So, all right, now you want to get in here. You can see how this line here is set up. Here it is into our caliper. You can see it's got all this dirt and dust and stuff. Now truck has been off-road a couple times, so our bleeder is kind of, it's packed off with dirt. I'm not worried about that right now, and that's another reason why I say make sure that your reservoir is completely full. Now on this particular truck, this bolt, I believe, is, I have it, and it keeps bouncing around. It's one of those half-year trucks. Half is metric, half is standard. So, but this guy here, boom, she's 7/16. The end of this line on this side is a 5/8. Brake line on the back side here is a 9/16. So we'll go ahead and grab our 5/8, 9/16. Make sure we get that there. You're going to want to hold back up, and then we'll go ahead and break this line free. Once we break our brake line free here on this back side, leave the rubber line alone for right now, because, and this might not be for all you guys. This was one of the cheaper kits at the time. It didn't come with brake lines, it just came with shocks and springs and U-bolts, so I had to relocate the brake lines. But once you get that undone, just let it drip. This is letting you know, this is help keeping all the air out, and this is, you're gonna have to keep an eye on everything, but put your brake line back up through the original hole that it came through. There we go. Right, just like that. This is another, now this is what I mean by make sure everything fits, because now we can get this guy up in here, bring this brake line through where it's supposed to be, get everything started. There we go. So that is started. Go ahead and get that snugged into place where it's supposed to be. Where is it? The big end on this one is much larger, as you can see, so we'll back up on that. Get our brake line snug, because I don't don't have the backing on this yet, I can just spin this guy. And now we're getting to the reason why I say make sure your reservoir is completely full. Now we can tighten this guy up right where it's supposed to be. That fits right where it's supposed to be. And now that we have all that fluid in there, you can let this guy sit. Your brake fluid is now going to work its way down the line, taking all the air out, and it's going to start gravity bleeding itself towards the bottom. While it's doing that, go ahead and grab the wrench for here. So now you can see it's gravity bleeding. Now we're going to go ahead and break. Whoops. It's been a while since he's been off. Okay, but we'll go ahead and break this line off now. There we go. You can see how tight that is. Now you can see all the brake fluid, because our brake line kind of comes into the center of our piston right here. So now when I take this brake line off, you can see all the brake fluid that we are losing. That is okay. Make sure you get the old gaskets off. There's that one. This one looks like she is. Yep. That's off. It must have, oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so that, make sure your old gaskets are out of the way, off your banjo bolt and off your caliper. Make sure your bolt is nice and clean. Plenty of fluid in our reservoir still. So now that that is cleaned off, let me grab our new gasket. It's right here. You can see brand new copper gaskets come in the brake line kit that you order. So now you can see our fluid is bleeding out, and I'm gonna have to turn that around. So, but boom, boom. Make sure you got all the dirt and everything clear out of the way. And just start everything by hand for right now. Make sure it's snug. This way it's going to help you from losing all of your brake fluid. Now here's the most important reason why I said make sure that your reservoir is completely full. This is the reason why. There we go. So for one, you get in here, see all that dirt there? Make sure you got yourself a little pick or something. Kind of blow it off. Scrape. Oh, you good. Make sure you use a pick or a wire brush or something. Get some of the big chunks out of here, because you don't want that falling into your brake caliper when you take the bleeder out. Make sure you got yourself a can of brake clean too. This helps. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this bleeder out of here. Let's tighten up that first. Let's tighten this guy up real quick. See, the fluid is dripping. It was dripping, so we've got fluid into our brake caliper, and now take the bleeder all the way out, because this bleeder has been sitting in here and it probably hasn't been taken out in many years. It's got dirt and everything packed up inside there, and you can even see right here it's got dirt in there as well. So now that we're going to clean this out, and while we're doing that, we're just going to let gravity kind of slowly fill up our brake caliper there, and you should start seeing it pour out at the top of that caliper here real shortly. But yeah, see all the dirt and everything that's still inside that. Yep. I got a little pick to help clean it out. Another thing that helps clean it out as well, get yourself a variety of these really small drill bits. That helps out a lot as well, because it's got little channels in there that help whatever it is you're trying to clean out. It travels up the drill bit, makes cleaning these out just a little bit easier. A couple small ones you can get inside these holes as well. Normally these things usually have a rubber cap on them, but these apparently have not had any for a while, so I've got to try to find some, pick some up. Bleeding out of our caliper yet?
Yep.
And that is good. Still got plenty of fluid in there. This is also, I like doing this way as well. For if you look up there and see right here, you can almost see the line where we had it filled up all the way, and you can see how far down it goes. Right now it's basically is doing a flush, because all the fluid that's been left in those calipers and all the fluid that's in those lines has now been pushed out or pulled out by gravity. While we're sitting here cleaning out our brake lines and our bleeder fittings, we are actually getting fresh fluid inside our brake system as well. So it's a win-win. Right. We are getting there. Let's see, now that we've got all the dirt out of there, should come out of that hole right here. Yep. Cool deal. So our bleeder is now fully cleaned out. We've got fluid just pouring out of the top of our caliper, which means all the air is out now. Nice, good, solid stream like that. Go ahead and put our bleeder back in. Make sure it is nice and tight. Good, nice and snug. Go ahead and put our locking clip. There it is. Go ahead and put this in up there as well. This is where it holds our brake line to our original bracket. So there we go. Put that guy in. So all of our brake fluid was just pouring out. Our banjo bolt is tight. Our line up here is tight. Everything is snug. Let's go ahead and blast this off really fast. There's our old brake line. I just got to remove a 1/2-inch bolt from there, and then that is done. But now, go ahead and climb on out of there. So this is what I mean. Make sure that's full. We're just about 3/4 of the way. If you can see the line right here, I don't know if it'll pick it up, but it's about 75% full, which is fine because that's where it was before I started this whole brake line change. So now that it's back to where it was, got fresh fluid. Come in here because we let gravity help us out. Go ahead and press it once. That gets all the air out of our brake booster, and now we have a nice solid pedal, which means you are most of the line or the air is out of the system and you are good to go. Now, always double check yourself, always, right? Even though the pedal feels good, make sure you do have like an e-brake on or you have something behind. No one's around you when you go to test your brakes. That is a good practice, but if you're by yourself, gravity bleeding usually gets the job done. So, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and test it. While we're here, let's move on to the next job. All right, next job is I get to sit right here. I'm gonna play cameraman and maybe commentary, or I don't know, throw something at this kid, but he is gonna do the oil change on this truck. We got him set up already. He's got his drain pan. He's got his wrench up there. He's got the smile on his face. All right, we're gonna do this in the most easiest way possible and entertaining as possible as well. So go ahead, start draining your oil. Now we did just drive this thing to the auto parts store and back about however long it took me to change a brake line ago. So the oil, he's gonna learn really fast that the angle of that plug versus the angle of his drain pan, he might want to put the drain pan close. Here, maybe even, hold on one sec, don't you move. Look at that, YouTube magic, it has a stand now to hold that up. I couldn't possibly do that to the kid. As much as the little guy on my, the little devil on my left shoulder was saying, no, let him do it. Couldn't do it, because that oil is probably pretty hot. So now he's got it draining. I don't remember how many miles I have on this oil change, but I did figure it was time. Now while he's waiting for the oil change or the oil to drain, grab your channel locks, buddy.
All right.
See if you can grab a hold of that fram. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Now be careful, because the oil coming out of that thing is going to be hot as well. But go ahead, spin it off. I didn't get to feel it, but is the oil hot?
Oh yeah, she's toasty.
Yeah, so just let it sit there and drain. That's fine. We'll let it drain here and we'll be back in a sec. All right, looks like your oil's done draining. Go ahead, buddy. Let's get those out of there. Now be careful, don't let that drop and splash you, okay?
Will do.
Alright. Here's your paper towels. Looks like we got all the oil out. Make sure there is no O-ring up there where the oil filter goes. Last thing you want to do is put your new oil filter on with the old O-ring up there. It looks like it looks like a broken sprinkler when you start the thing. The fan of oil that gets kicked everywhere. And you can always check too if you turn your little oil filter towards you. Is the O-ring still on there?
Still on there.
All right, cool deal. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want a double stack. That is bad. Go ahead and put your bolt back in the oil pan.
All right.
While you're doing that, I am over here pre-filling your oil filter. Pre-filling the new one. Hi, buddy.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and run that oil filter home. Put it on there hand tight. What's up?
Not much.
All right, we are on the top side now. Gonna go ahead and top this engine off with oil. Got a bottle of, there we go, Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Now I do use that in almost every single thing I put oil in. I believe I've said it before, but ever since I was a little kid and I saw that little display up there with the 4 gears and the little handle, normal conventional oil versus conventional oil with oil stabilizer in it, and that try to see how fast you can spin it to get the oil to fling up. It just sticks to everything. I like it. So I put it in everything. And now Seth's gonna be putting it in. Seth's gonna go ahead, put her in this engine. See if you can make a mess. Oh, making a mess?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Put it. Yeah. Too bad he doesn't have a funnel. You could have asked for it.
Don't think about it.
Huh. Hey, look at that. He's definitely making sure everything on this truck is well lubed. Oh, this is great. Good stuff. All right, go ahead and squeeze all of that in there. Make sure we get every last drop in the engine. Okay. So once you've got it all out, go ahead and we're gonna empty what's left of this little jug in there as well. This is from what was left over from topping off our oil filter. We're gonna be here forever if you try to get every last bit of that out of there. So go ahead and
thank you.
Top her off the oil. I'll go ahead and open up your little 5-quart jug while you're sitting there checking that out. Now you're not going to dump this whole 5 quarts in there. You're going to dump about 4. Well, we got one of our Lucas in there. So I'd start off with about 3 quarts, 4 quarts.
All right.
This is about a 5.5 quart system. So you can tell by the end of our jug. See all the lines? See the view? Okay, go ahead and take it.
3 quarts in?
Yep, we'll go ahead. We'll put 3 quarts in it. Then we'll double check the dipstick. Oh, yeah, look at you, making sure that intake manifold is just weather resistant. Got it. All right. Oh, and our brake reservoir as well. Attaboy. Get that in there. Doing good. Doing good.
Another quart.
Another quart? Cool deal. Easy.
Another half.
Easy. Don't spill, okay?
All right.
You're taking it out of your paycheck.
I won't get paid.
Oh, you can't say stuff like that. All right, that should be plenty for us to pull the dipstick here. Let's see what that thing says. You got a paper towel over there? Here. You hold that. You get the end of the dipstick. Make sure, yep, good. Now, put that guy back in there. Almost. There we go. Oh yeah, it looks like it could take another half a quart. Go ahead and top her off with another half a quart. Then we'll fire it up, double check it again. You gotta make that up. You gotta take things like that into consideration.
All right.
All right, let me have that. Go ahead, grab your little paper towel there. Pull this guy again, wipe it off. Okay, easy. Oh yeah, way better. All right, let's see. Yep, just above our full holes there. So now, go ahead and fire this thing up. Make sure it has oil pressure. And then we'll double check our dipstick. Make sure the engine's top off on oil. So I'll do that. And we'll be right back for this guy's next project. I figured this is a good thing for him to learn, because when we get back from Power Tour, he's probably gonna either be just going to get his license, or maybe one of his siblings took him to get his license.
Fingers crossed.
And he really, really, really wants to drive this truck around, so try to get him to get into the maintenance side of it. Take care of the old square body. So go ahead, fire it up, double check, make sure we're topped off on oil, and we'll be right back for his next project. All right, we are back under the truck for Seth for job number 3. And that job is
transmission fluid.
Yep, we are going to do a drain and fill on that transmission. For some of you that haven't been with me or don't remember, that this transmission I rebuilt myself. It is the 700R4. The very first attempt of my transmission rebuild of this one was I was not paying attention. It lasted 5 minutes and I fried all of the 3 and 4 clutches. That was me. And then I took it apart, found where I went wrong. I put a couple of the steels in the wrong spot because I was not paying attention. So if you learn anything from that one whatsoever, it's just pay a little bit more attention, better attention than I did on that one. So we got it fixed. It was just replaced all the steels in the 3-4 basket, got everything put back together. It's got new overrun clutches. I haven't put the HD clutch pack, 3/4 clutch pack in it, or the Z pack, I believe is what it's called. More steels, more clutches. And third and fourth have been pretty darn strong ever since then. But all I did was pull the transmission apart to that point and then put it back together. Tried to drain the torque converter as much as possible, but I went ahead, did all that, threw it back together, and my plan was to put a few hundred miles on it, do a couple drain and fill, so figured now's a good time to do it. I mean, for me, I mean that guy right there. So, and I had the good fortune of, you know, thinking ahead and adding a drain plug in the pan, because let's face it, unbolting the pan every single time to drain it and fill it is kind of a pain. So go ahead and let's, yeah, there you go. Watch your fingers.
Too late.
Yeah, I see that. It should be pretty handy now. Yep. You got the pan directly below?
I believe so.
All right, watch out too, because it may be
toasty.
Maybe a little toasty. Oh yeah. Not too burned. It's actually still got a nice, decent little red color to it, so that makes me feel pretty good about the whole thing. I remember draining it before, and it was it looked worse than the engine oil that I just took out of this truck, so that is nice. I like it. It means things are functioning like they should, or at least it is not overheating. So that makes me feel really, really good about that whole transmission overhaul. So now I'm gonna go ahead, just gonna sit here, watch Seth put the drain plug back in that pan. Then we're gonna go ahead and top it off with some fresh fluid. And I got some of the Lucas transmission additive as well. So you're gonna go ahead and put the plug back in, and I'll see you guys back on top.
Oh.
All right, we are back on top. What are you gonna do, Seth? What do we gotta do?
I'm gonna put some transmission fluid stabilizer in it, and then fill it back up with transmission fluid.
Right on. So, but all right, go ahead and pull the dipstick. See where we're at. See if you got any on there.
Yeah, I think we're low.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
All right, go ahead. You cleaned that funnel out already?
Yeah.
All right, pop her in there. Grab your little stabilizer.
What is that?
All right, I'm back. Took a little nap there. So, you know what they say, don't, you know, it usually isn't a good idea to change anything up, right? Always stick to what you've done, what you've used. Always stick to the same transmission fluids. Always stick to the same oil stabilizers, your same maintenance program and all that stuff. But I saw this stuff, it says to help prolong a transmission. And well, the first time I rebuilt this transmission, it lasted 5 minutes. Second time I rebuilt it, it's still going. So I figured this has got to help. So, and what I'm putting in there is Lucas transmission fix, stop, slip, all that stuff. This truck was not, well, second gear is still soft. I just have the regular servo in it. But third, fourth gears are nice solid shifts. I figure this could help. It says for extended transmission life and heat control, add 1 bottle. I'm not making it up. Just show you. Approximately 30,000 miles, refer to the owner's manual. Well, I don't have the owner's manual to this truck, so we should be okay. So we got 1 quart of that stuff in there, and I am not kidding when I say I got Seth 2-gallon container of transmission fluid for this truck. We all seen what kind of control he had with the 1 gallon. We're gonna see how well he can put 3 quarts out of that container into this transmission. So grab some popcorn. Let's check them out. Let's see what you got here. Now we have to judge about 3 quarts. Now I'm gonna tell you, a good thing is I have a drain plug on this transmission. So if you do overfill it, we can at least get some of it out. Look at the control. Look at him go. All right, go ahead, back it off. Let it run down there real quick. All right. Pull your funnel out. Now we're going to make sure that we have fluid on the dipstick, and so you know, and so for everyone else, transmission dipsticks usually have instructions. Let me see. Let me get this set up so we can see it. But transmission dipsticks usually have instructions written on them. Hopefully you guys can see there. It tells you what kind of fluid you have, when it's full, when it's hot. And it says here, check in park at, where is it? Check in park, trans hot, engine idling, vehicle level, use Dextron trans fluid only. So all the instructions of everything you may or may not need are usually on the dipsticks, especially the older vehicles. So double check that. If you can't find it in your owner's manual, it'll at least tell you what kind of fluid and your level and all that stuff, and how to check it. Chevrolet's park or neutral while running, and Ford is the same way. I believe Mopar is in neutral while running. You try to check it in park, it's always going to show over full, I believe. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But let's see what we got.
Barely on the lines.
I can't see.
Halfway up.
Halfway up on the
okay.
Halfway up on the okay?
Yep.
Right on. So go ahead and put your funnel back in, because we're going to double check our transmission. And fire the truck up, let it idle for a little bit, make sure all the fluid is down at the bottom, double check our fluid again, and top it off if needed. So be back here in a sec. All right, truck is fired up and is warmed up. You can tell because of the low idle. Got Seth getting ready to double check our transmission fluid. So go ahead, pop her in there. Let's see what we got. All right, what's the dipstick say?
Let's drop the good bit. Right below the okay.
Right below the okay on our little cross marks there. Now another thing you want to be aware of too, that you can see on the back side of this, the fluid is a tad bit lower. Now this could be the higher side could be caused by fluid left over on the dipstick that goes down in the dipstick tube that goes down into the transmission. Might be some fluid on the high side, so every time you pull a dipstick, you might see fluid higher up on one side of your dipstick and lower on the other. I always go by the lower, because that is a more sure thing than the fluid that's on top. So you can wait a couple more minutes, it'll probably run the rest of the way down and you get a more clear line, but just so you know. But it says it looks like we probably need about a pint, maybe a little over a pint. Oh, maybe just less than a quart. So go ahead and have Seth grab our little funnel there. Grab some fluid. See if he can estimate about a pint. There you go. Make sure you get it on those exhaust manifolds. I'm going to go ahead and call you right there. So that is probably enough. Just go ahead and leave that in there. We'll let it sit for a few minutes. Let the engine run. Let the fluid kind of work back into the transmission. Then we'll double check our fluid here in a second and let you guys know where it's at. Alright, it's been running for a few minutes now. Go ahead, we double check, topped it off some more. So go ahead, Seth. Pop her in there, let's see where the fluid level's at. Go ahead and see, what do we got?
Right on the tip of the okay.
Perfect. Might be just a little bit lower because of the way you're holding it, but for the most part, fluid level is good. Now go ahead and put the dipstick back in. Take this thing on a little test drive, double check our brakes, make sure all that works out really well. Just a few little things I wanted to take care of before heading out on Power Tour, and I figured this would also be a good one for this guy to learn on as well. Thanks to the fact he will be wanting to drive this truck after he gets his license. So This one was just a basic fun video. Give him a hard time. Let him kind of take over the maintenance a little bit on there, show him a few things, make sure he understands what's going on. So that was basically the point of this. And I got free labor out of it. I got my oil change done. But that's going to be it for right now. I still got a little bit more cleanup to do. Got to get some things ready, gather up some tools, make sure I got a couple extra parts as well in the back of this truck. So I'm going to end this one right here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you had fun. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how my new little helper or our new pit crew boss guy did on his oil change. Let him know. So, but again, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Give a guy a thumbs up. At least give him one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next one.